Hi guys, welcome to our channel Absolute Roadie. I am Karan and you can also call me as Prince. The place that we are here today, that's the temple, that's our temple. It's the dealership of Harley Davidson, and right now I'm at the Harley Davidson Dubai dealership. And the reason I'm here is because that's where it all started. And that's where my riding journey started. Also, I've been speaking about in my initial videos all about the channel Absolute Roadie. The main purpose of this channel is to talk about motorcycle parts, accessories, everything that you can think and dream and talk about motorcycles. And it's time that we start doing that now. My initial videos were, of course, of the recording accessories which I would use to start my videos, and that's also important. So I wanted to be a little systematic, and that's why I did those videos first, and now it's high time that we start covering motorcycles. And the first motorcycle which I've chosen to cover is my own ride, which is the Harley Davidson Dyna Fat Bob, and I've been owning it, or I've been riding it since rather October 2016, so it's been 4 years now. Next week I'll be celebrating the 4th anniversary of my bike, and it couldn't be better timing than this to start reviewing my motorcycle. We'll do that. We'll do an in-depth review. It will be a review of the motorcycle Dyna Fat Bob. It will also be a 4-year review. It will also be a review covering all the accessories and the high-end upgrades which I've done to my bike. So I won't take long, and I'll take you through the review of my bike. Without much further ado, let's go and get started, guys. Hi guys, here's my ride, Harley Davidson Dyna Fat Bob, and that's my bike. I'm in love with this bike. I have the bike since October 2016. It's been 4 years I have been riding this bike, and this week I'm going to celebrate the 4th anniversary with the bike. Now, without much further ado, we'll start with the review. But having said that, the change in location, well, we were at the Harley Davidson showroom, the dealership in Dubai. But that's the starting point. The remaining journey continues on the road, and that's the reason we are here. So most of my reviews, whether it's motorcycles, parts or accessories or anything that we're going to talk about the bike, will mostly happen on the roads. And like the name of my channel suggests, Absolute Roadie, so we'll always come across with each other while we are on the road. Having said that, without much further ado, let me start with the review of my bike. Before I get into talking about different parts and accessories which I've added, let me just take a step back with you guys and narrate briefly my experience on how did I start it and how did I start to plan about it. So the first step was to decide the bike, the model which I would like to purchase. When I zeroed in on Harley Davidson Dyna Fat Bob, that's when the budgeting process started. So I divided the accessories which I was looking to add, or the high-end upgrades which I wanted to do in the bike, in 2 parts. One, the immediate must-have requirements, and the second one was the one which I wish to have, and I would like to have them installed on my bike in my course of my riding experience on this bike. Now, before I got into the decision to zero in and buy the bike, once I was clear it's going to be Harley Davidson Dyna Fat Bob, then I made a commitment. The commitment was twofold. One, I would be riding the bike for minimum 4 years, and my target was to complete 100,000 kilometers. So I'm done with that. I've done 4 years with the bike, and I am a little shy of 100,000 kilometers. I'm at 93,000 kilometers, and we all understand the last 6 months have been tough with everyone. There have been situations where you can't ride freely. So but I'm fine. No regrets with that. I can easily make up that distance. The moment everything gets to normal, it won't take long to touch the 100,000 kilometer mark on this bike. So once those 2 decisions were made, then I started planning on the accessories which I would like to add. The first one, which was an immediate requirement, was definitely the stage 1 upgrade that I wanted right from day 1, and then some few accessories which I'll take you through while I would be covering them. Again, with stage 1 kit, I did a lot of research. So what I did was, while I was going through different companies, different aftermarket companies, to look for the exhaust, the heavy breather, the tuner, what I also searched for, a little looking forward ahead, because I had planned to ride the bike for 100,000 kilometers in 4 years. So I also planned that when I'll complete 30,000 kilometers, I'll go for a stage 2. When I will complete 70,000 kilometers, I'll go for a stage 3. The decision was based on the fact that I wanted to, keep pepping up my bike, keep it alive, keep it fresh, so that every couple of years you would, get a feel of a new bike, so you won't get bored with it and you would like to stick with it. And again, the thought at the back of the mind was to live the entire hog journey. If you're a Harley owner, that's a dream. I'm a first generation Harley Davidson owner, so I just wanted to go through the entire process of acquiring a bike, acquiring accessories, doing all the upgrades, getting involved in the decision making process, all by myself. So that was the critical decision, and that helped me a lot in saving a lot of money. I'll tell you how. The first upgrade which I did in my bike was the stage 1 kit. Now the stage 1 kit involves which I opted for is the Vance&Hines radius 2x2 exhaust. Then it has the Screaming Eagle heavy breather, and then I opted for the Fuelpak tuner. Now the good part about all these 3 accessories is that whether you want to go ahead with a stage 2 upgrade or for a stage 4 upgrade, you can continue using all these 3 accessories. So you don't have to invest more money in either changing the slip-ons or changing the tuner or changing the breather. So all these accessories which you see now are with me since October 2016. The exhaust, the heavy breather, and at the same time the Fuelpak tuner. Now again, Fuelpak tuner is an amazing device. It's an amazing tool. People usually discount it for bikes like Harley Davidson, Dyna Lowrider or Fat Bob or Fat Boy, and they go for Screaming Eagle tuners or some other heavy tuner or some aftermarket ECUs itself when they're looking for touring bike. But let me tell you, today you will find CVO 117 riders using a Fuelpak tuner. It's a very powerful tool. It's very user friendly. It can help you a lot. When I was with stage 1, I was using a customized map. I reached out to the team. They sent me map. I tuned it. They help you a lot. You can send back your requirements to them. They will customize the map and send it back to you according to the requirements, based on the exhaust that you have, based on the cams that you have. But with stage 1, what I did was I opted for a little higher performance, though it costed me on my mileage. But at that time, it was more of an exciting world, and I wanted to ride fast as well. I wanted to cover long distances as well. So having said that, that was an interesting period, my initial 30,000 kilometers. But given that I was involved with some long distance rides, so the stage 2 upgrade got extended, and I did the stage 2 upgrade at 42,000 kilometers, wherein I changed the cams to SE259E and also got the push rod change. The exhaust, the Fuelpak tuner, the heavy breather from Screaming Eagle all remains the same. Now eventually at 72,000 kilometers, I did the stage 4 upgrade as well. So today when you see the bike, it's a stage 4 upgrade bike with exhaust and other things remaining the same, but you have the full stage 4 kit. But there was one slight change which I had to bring in, which was the throttle body. The throttle body which you use with the stage 1 kit, is not as wide as the one which you require for stage 4. The stage 4 kit is the 58 mm throttle body. So I had to buy a new throttle body for the stage 4 upgrade. But then other than that, the entire kit was used as is. So just to let you know, if someone's interested or someone is just starting now and want to understand what's the difference. So instead of comparing each and every stage with each other, what I'll do is I'll just compare the 2 extreme sides. So let's compare the stock 103 Dyna Fat Bob with the stage 4 Dyna Fat Bob. I think probably that will give you a complete difference of where you want to be if you're starting with a stock bike, or if you already have a stock one and you want to add more to it. Right, so the stock bike will help you produce a peak power of 75 horsepower, and it will help you produce a torque of 90 pound-feet. Now The torque with the stock bike remains flat. So it remains flat at 90 pound-feet. You know, you will get it at around 2500 RPM and it will remain flat until I believe 4000 RPM. No, don't catch me with figures. I just recall and I'm narrating it to you now. So that's the range and it remains flat. Though the horsepower will, you know, keep on increasing, but the torque doesn't increase. So you don't get that push in that bike. Now what happens with stage 4 is at stage 4 you get a peak power of 95 horsepower. And the horsepower increases continuously from 2500 RPM all the way up to 6000 RPM. So you get a continuous push of power all through the RPM range, and the pound-feet of torque also, you know, takes a leap and it goes up to 105 pound-feet of torque. And again, you will see an acceleration in, you know, the torque as well from 2500 RPM until 4500 RPM. So that's the range. But you need to note that, you know, that's the critical drivable RPM range as well, from 2500 RPM until 4000. That's the RPM range I believe most of us would be riding our bike most of the time. You can, you know, if you have been riding a Harley Davidson, you would know how many times, for how many hours or how many minutes do you ride in the 5000 to 6000 RPM range. We all know that. So, but unlike, I mean, if you're all, you know, pro riders, performance, you know, you want speed, you want acceleration, you can go for that. You can tweak your maps and you can decide. I have been a long distance rider, and therefore I needed to have, you know, a bigger engine, a heavy engine, but at the same time I needed a lot of mileage out of my bike. So with stage 1, with the then map which I was using, I was extracting 285 kilometers from a full tank. But with stage 4 upgrade, with the base map, I extract 325 kilometers. So that's a huge difference. That's a difference of almost 40 kilometers, and that's like a make or break situation when you're on a long distance ride. Now, having a higher mileage helps me plan stops at, obviously at larger distances, and that's the reason I opted for it. And the stage 4 kit, even with the, the base map is far, will give you a lot of power, a lot of acceleration, which will be far more than the stock bike. So you will definitely feel a lot of difference. With stage 4, you can do a lot of things. You can even, further increase your horsepower. You can play around with the cams. But I'm happy with the stage 4 kit itself. It's not a race bike. I've not modified it to be a race bike. The purpose is to, when you would like to stretch on the highway, you can do that. When there's someone ahead of you which ends up blocking the traffic, you can take a quick kick in your throttle and just go ahead and come back and just relax and ride. So that's the purpose, and it's being very well addressed by the stage 4 kit. So in case if you're looking to upgrade, then you may please do that. Moving on from the heavy upgrades to the other accessories. Now that's definitely not the way a stock Dyna Fat Bob looks. What I've added from a brand called Tsukayu, which comes from Japan, is the front fairing and the saddlebags. Now the fairing and the saddlebags are custom made for Dyna Fat Bob. So the fairing will fit in on the forks. It also comes along with the front indicators relocator kit. So you would see the front indicators have moved down. They get mounted on the forks itself. It comes with this kit, so that's great. Again, the saddlebags are custom made for Fat Bob, so it gives you a shape, a curved shape, so that it fits along running parallel with the rear exhaust. At the same time, on the rear side, it also gives you a curve to accommodate the rear indicators. So that's good about it. The reason I opted for it, when I go on long distance ride, other than talking to my riding buddies, the other option I have is to listen to music, and I love to listen heavy music while I'm riding. What I've also done, if you would have viewed my previous video, with my helmet, what I've done is with the Cardo Pack Talk, I have upgraded the speakers as well, though the speakers are now 45mm JBL speakers, which again gives amazing sound even if you don't want to listen to them on the speakers. Now this fairing, it comes with an audio kit. It comes with a stock Sony audio system along with, I believe, Sony speakers. But what I've done is I upgraded it. I have added the Nakamichi audio system along with the Nakamichi 4-channel 1000 watt amplifier. I've replaced my speakers with Rockwheel Marine speakers. Now these are waterproof and you don't have to worry when you're taking your bike for a wash. So that's a heavy end upgrade, and the sound is awesome in the bike. I'll probably do a video and help make you listen to the music as well. And again, saddlebags. Now they came into play because when I started riding the bike in the first year, then you don't realize when the virus catches you. The virus, not in the virus meaning, but it becomes very habitual. So I didn't realize within 6 to 8 months of riding this bike, it became my daily transport. So daily transport to an extent that my car remains parked for almost 2 to 3 weeks, and I need a jump starter to start the car. So that's the extent to which I've been riding the bike now. And because it's a daily commute to work and back, I also go to the gym in the morning, so I need to carry 2 bags, one gym gear and one my formal gear, along with the bag with the shoes. So I needed saddlebags, and the entire proposition from Tsukayu helped me a lot. Given that it comes with the total kit and you get a discounted price when you buy the entire kit. The front fairing also gives you 3 windscreen options as well. Depending on your height, you can opt for any one of them. I believe it doesn't cost you extra, so you can just opt for the one which suits you best with your height. Covering the saddlebags and the fairing, it has helped me in my long distance ride as well. I could have managed with the windshield as well, but given the wider size of the front fairing, it distracts, it splits all the front wind which is coming directly onto your face. Though that's, we all love to ride in the wind, but when you're a long distance rider and you're riding for a full day, by the way, when I'm talking about long distance ride, I mean riding 1,000 or 2,000 kilometers at a stretch, which means I'm riding for almost 12 to 15 hours a day. I'll be making a separate video on all the long distance ride, the Ironbird channels, the King of the Road challenge which I have done. Probably that might help you in case if you're looking forward to do that as well. That would be a full detailed video, can't cover it now. It would require a lot of time to go through that video. But having said that, so that's again has been quite helpful to me, given that when you're riding for long distances, it becomes a safety feature because you can't be taking the hit of the from wind for so long. Having said that, now since the bike now has widened, so it's no longer limited to the stock width of the bike. So the fairing stretches almost up to the length of the exhaust, and the rear saddlebags again it again reaches the same width. So the basic concept is that you need to make sure that your presence is felt on the road to the extent you have a motorcycle. So you need to add some accessories in terms of the brake lights or the front fog lamps or front DRLs, so that someone who is behind you or someone who is approaching you from the opposite direction, so they know what kind of bike you have, how wide it is, and so that if you're going close by, they can drive very cautiously and don't end up hitting you. And it helps a lot, especially during the night rides, because at times you may end up on a street which doesn't have light. But though that's not the case that often in UAE, it's one of the very few countries where almost every road has a street light or every highway has a the highway lights. But having said that, you need to make sure that the entire width of your bike is visible to the traffic around you. So what I've done therefore is, one, I have converted my indicators front and rear both. I've replaced the indicator lights with the custom dynamic light. When I did that, I did it almost 3.5 years back. At that time, they were the best. The lights are very bright. The front indicators, they are DRLs, so they glow throughout the day. And the rear one act as a brake light along with the indicator. So that's an amazing package. And there are other brands as well, aftermarket, but it makes sense to acquire one of these. They look very nice. They go very well with any Harley Davidson model. Now, what has happened with me is that it has helped me give a very staggered formation of my lights. So I have the LED headlights followed by the the front indicators, which have been now relocated, which are further followed by the fog lamps over here, and then again DRLs. These DRLs are also indicators. So I've got 2 indicators over here. One, the stock indicators, which are now custom dynamic, and at the same time these aftermarket indicators. Now, while acquiring all these accessories, what I've also taken care, in terms of the money which I wanted to spend on it, So my headlights, the LED headlights, they are not from, they're not the daymaker headlights. They're pretty expensive. The ones which I have costed me just 1/10 of the price of the daymaker headlights. So the difference was huge. And I have them since last 4 years. They have performed extremely well, no issues. Even if something were to go wrong now, I don't care. It's been 4 years. All that I do is I keep, you need to make sure that the glasses are clean, the headlamps are clean. You can probably use a WD-40 spray to clean them regularly, or just make sure that you get them polished, at least once or twice a year. So they'll help the front glasses clean, and you will still keep on enjoying the full range of the light. Now, obviously, you can't compare them with the certain high-end aftermarket lights. They are amazing. They are superb. If you have the budget, and if you end up riding in those areas where you may not find adequate lighting, then definitely you should go for it. But given that the price difference was huge for me, and at the same time in UAE we don't come across those situations where we will not have lights on the road, so I'm quite happy with it. Plus my additional light, they compensate for it. So the headlights, the DRLs, which are the stock indicators, plus additional fog lamps. Now again, these fog lamps are aftermarket, but these are 45-watt fog lamps, and they are brighter than the headlights. So when I'm riding, someone who is looking me in the rearview mirror definitely see a strong presence, and they understand that it's a Harley Davidson bike. It's all lit up. So you need to do that. You need to make sure that your presence is felt, especially during the night times. Similarly, what I've done on the rear side is that I've added strobe lights. Now these strobe lights are from a company called Skene design. I'll give the links in the description if you would like to know, and if you would like to go through them, probably to make informed decision in case if you're interested in it. Skene design manufactures these strobe lights. I acquired them almost 4 years back. Again, these accessories are the initial accessories which I bought in the first 3 months when I acquired the bike. So these DRLs, they work in 8 different modes. It comes with the modular, so you can make it flash 3 times, 4 times, 8 times, and then it goes bright, which I would recommend every motorbike rider should have it, whether it's a scooter or a motorbike. Not just a Harley Davidson, even a normal two-wheeler, they should have that strobe light. The reason why I'm saying is so because the reaction time of the rear vehicle, the driver who is driving, whether it's a truck or it's a car or it's another four-wheeler or two-wheeler, the reaction time when you apply a brake for that person is much faster than you apply the normal brakes. You apply the normal brake, it just glows, it becomes more bright. But when you apply a strobe light, it flashes, it catches attention, and therefore the reaction time of the rear vehicle definitely shortens, and it is a phenomenal safety feature. I think it should be a must-have for everyone. But again, I mean, everyone's free to make their own call, but I would strongly recommend everyone to have strobe rear lights. In fact, if you don't want to buy additional LED lights, you don't have that kind of budget, you don't want to spend on it, you can just buy the modulator. You can just buy the modulator and add to your stock light. It will make it flash, and that's not expensive at all. So that's one economic way of adding that strobe effect to your brake light, and it will nearly solve the same purpose. It's just that because I have saddlebags and I wanted to make sure that it is visible to the rear traffic, so I've added those two strips light to on my saddlebags, so that when I apply a brake, everyone knows how wide my bike is, and they can make appropriate way to cross by me. Moving on, there are quite a few accessories in the bike which I kept on adding during the course of my ride. One very amazing accessory which I've added is the floorboards. Now these floorboards are not stock parts for Dyna Fat Bob. It only comes with forward controls with foot pegs, but you can add them. These floorboards are made specially for bikes which have forward control, but you may not need to take care while you're installing them. Probably your service manager or your mechanic which you take your bike for servicing would know it. They might have done it for other bikes. If you need to install the floorboards along with the engine guard and the forward control, you might need some spacer, which you can get it done from any welding shop. It could be a metal plate, depending on the kind of space that you want. So that will help you install them. Probably the guys, they are pro, they know it all. They would have installed it in some other Dyna Fat Bob. so they would know it. In case not, then all that you'll understand by the moment you try to bring all these things together. You would need a spacer so that it can be installed aligned with the engine guard and the forward controls. Moving on. Now again, I mean, these are quite comfortable. Look at the size, look at the width. Your entire foot rests on it. And I related to other accessories as well, why I opted for them. Having spoken about the foot pegs or the floorboards, I'll speak about the seat which I have. Now these seats, the stock seat is also amazing for Dyna Fat Bob. It's quite wide, but given that I go on long distance ride, I needed a proper backrest. So these are ultimate seats from Canada. It is a 3-piece set. It comes with the rider seat, the rider backrest, and the pillion seat. This backrest for the pillion is from a separate company. It's called Wings Custom. It's from Brazil, so I ordered it from Brazil. Now I'm not sure how economic it may be for different people in different locations to order stuff from Brazil, but for me, I was getting a reasonable shipping cost in UAE, so I ordered them. And this is an amazing company. Just Google it out. They manufacture the the engine guards as well. They manufacture handlebars and saddles and backrests. So and they have some amazing designs. You should look at this option as well. But given that it comes from Brazil, it may may not be a worthy option given the shipping costs involved to ship stuff from Brazil all the way to UAE or to India. But having said that, if you want, you can go for it. Now the 3-piece seat is quite comfortable. It's wide, it's wider than the stock seat, so it gives you a lot of comfort. It's been there for almost 3 years now with me. A lot of cushion in it. I've done long rides in the sense I've done rides which are for 12 hours, for 24 hours, even as long as 36 hours non-stop. And these seats have been amazing. And the backrest especially, it gives you a flexibility of moving around based on the angle at which you want to keep your back. If you want to stretch a little more, you can turn it. If you want to keep your back straight, you can keep it straight. So this is the flexibility that comes with it. Again, you have the option to remove the backrest. You have the option to remove the pillion seat if you want to carry some luggage. So you can do all that stuff. So the seat, the combination of the seat with the floorboards is amazing. It's awesome. It makes you, feel like a sofa. So it's now actually as good as a touring bike. In fact, the comfort on this one is, even better than some of the touring bikes. So not, countering their advantages. I mean, that's the bike which touring bike is eventually everyone looks to move on to if you are in, long distance riding. If you are a long distance rider. But anyways, we're not talking about any new bike or any swap again, though I've completed 4 years, but that's not the plan as of now. I'm going to stick with this bike. It's performed so well with me, no issues, nothing, maintained at dealership. So again, it's not a sales pitch for the bike. I'm just sharing my experience with you. So these floorboards, these are Harley Davidson floorboards, which are OEM manufactured. The rear passenger floorboards, now these are aftermarket. I opted for aftermarket given that they're hardly used. So it doesn't make sense to spend money on an OEM part for something which will be hardly used. So they're as new as they were on day one. Nothing's changed in them. So again, I mean, you need to take those calls depending on the use of the accessory. So you may want to have it, so it goes well with the entire look of the bike. And especially if someone's sitting, it gives you far more comfort than the stock pegs which comes with the Harley Davidson bike. So they're the same, they're the standard peg. And if you're a long distance rider, after a moment, your leg starts to pain because you don't get complete rest. So I just went for the aftermarket floorboards. Moving next, what next? We have covered the heavy end upgrades on the stage 1, the stage 4 kit. We have done the front fairing, the saddlebags are visible. We have also spoken about the floorboards. We have spoken about the rear passenger floorboard, the seats, the backrests for both passenger and the rider. Next is the heat shields. Now that's a very basic upgrade. You should have it right from day one because there's a lot of heat which gets thrown back at you, especially if you're a daily commuter. You may end up stopping at the signals, and at that time the heat gets thrown back. These are all air-cooled engines. Also, the other advantage it will give you is, at times, depending on your seating position, the edge of the gas tank, which becomes very hot, might touch your thighs, and that's why you need these heat shields, because they, tend to be, little outside of the gas tank, and therefore your thighs don't touch the gas tank directly, and that will help you a lot. So not just in protecting you from the heat, though they don't blow the heat away, or they will not stop the entire heat thrown back onto you, but to a larger extent they do their job. And you can opt for the stock ones, the original Harley Davidson heat shields. There's not much difference in the pricing if you go for an aftermarket, or but don't go for a cheaper heat shield. It will not help your purpose. So just go with the Harley Davidson one, or opt for some other aftermarket like Kuryakin or some other Arlenlens or some other brand like that. All right, what next? Next, it's quite difficult to, I'm just looking at the bike and recollecting which all accessories I've added. Next is the odometer. We can speak about the odometer. Now the odometer has been replaced with the one which is the LED one. I did not like the stock odometer. It was quite boring. Though it was not a must-have accessory for me, I got a special discount of 25%, and that's the reason I bought it. Had I not got the discount, I would have not bought it. So as simple as that. Again, you need to take a call. The only attraction for me with this was I aligned the colors in the odometer with that of the audio system, so now it goes all well. Plus at the same time it has got an RPM indicator, which I love to have. Now you can see them separately in a Dyna lowrider, which has got two, one the speedometer and one an RPM reader, and I love that. But that was missing in this bike, but now it's done. Plus it throws you a lot of information as well, your mileage, your range, even the gear in which you're running your bike. So all these information is also displayed with it. 25% discount was enough for me to take that call and install it on my bike. What next, guys? Next we can talk about the mobile mount. Now I'm using the RAM mount. I'm very happy with it, using it since last 4 years, and I think I use it more often than anyone else, given that I'm a daily rider. So it gets stretched, the spring gets stretched almost 4, 5, 6 times in a day, and it's still intact. It's still as tight as it was on day one. Having spoken of the mobile mount, let's cover the other accessory which I have. Now there's something which I have which is not visible while we are looking at the bike, because that's underneath the bike. That's something which is called an anti-skid plate, and it's been installed right over here. Now this is from a company called Firebrand. I ordered it from RevZilla. Now what the plate does, it covers the the engine casing, and it also covers a part of the frame. So in case if you're crossing over a steep speed breaker, or if in case there is a heavy stone or a pebble or some metal piece on the road gets thrown back onto the engine casing, then it protects it from getting scratched. And when I've looked at the bike underneath, there are a lot of scratches on the metal plate. The metal plate is a 3x32 inch aluminum plate, which is laser cut. It's custom made for Dyna Fat Bob. You can get it at RevZilla, and again I would recommend you to have it, given that there are a lot of speed breakers. It would really help protect your engine casing from getting scratched. But just one thing to be taken care of is, I realized it in the first month itself, when you take your bike for service, at times there might be some oil which will get spilled on the skid plate, and if you take the bike back home, you might see a couple of drops in your parking and you would get worried. So nothing to get worried about it. Just make sure that if you have installed this plate, or if you're planning to do one, then let your service manager know that he or she needs to clean the plate. Remove the plate, change the oil, then add the plate back again, and keep on cleaning it every 3 to 6 months. So that's it. What more? What more accessories do I have? I have spoken about the indicators. I have spoken about the fog lamps, the headlights, fairings. Okay, talking about the music system, I also have 2 additional speakers. Like I said, it's the Nakamichi 4-channel 1000-watt amplifier, which can support 4 speakers or 2 speakers and an amplifier. So I have, before I installed this system, which was after 1 year since when I got the bike, but in between I got these Cycle Sound speakers. Now these are amazing speakers. These are 3-inch matte black speaker, goes very well with the bike. But after a speed of 60 kilometers an hour, the sound of the bike takes over the sound of music, and you would not enjoy it then. So you can't listen to the music then after speeds of 60 kilometers an hour. But then I had them, so I connected my amplifier with them, and now the sound which gets thrown out is awesome. So you have a 1000-watt amplifier supporting 4 speakers, and it's an awesome sound which comes out when you're riding, and you can listen to them up to 120 kilometers hours of speed as well. Moving next, what more? Okay, now what you can't see on this side of the bike is the derby cover, which I changed it to black color. The stock one comes, I think it's an aluminum shade, which doesn't look nice at all, because the entire bike is black, and all of a sudden there is a derby cover which is aluminum in color. Now what I've done is I've got a black color with white metal, or steel metal stripes on it, which goes very well with the engine, so it matches the engine stripes. Again, what I've also done is I have replaced the horn cover. I think the horn cover comes chrome by default in Dyna Fat Bob, so I have added a black color, matte black color, horn cover. So the ergonomics go very well. In between, you can't have those parts which don't go well with the look of the bike. Similarly, I have added the the caps over here, which you can see in the front and the end. It doesn't look nice. You have a black suspension, and then at the end it goes into a metal shade tip, which doesn't look nice at all. And the bike looks very clean when you add the caps in the front, and also if you can see over here, which are down there. So it looks nice, it looks mean. And also, if you would have noticed one change, my suspension is totally black. Now the reason it's totally black is because I got rid of that very irritating orange reflector which is there on the suspensions. Now I don't understand why there's a reflector being added. Obviously, I mean, there is some safety reason behind it, they've added it, but given the kind of lights that you install in your bikes, I don't think that the reflector is going to solve or add any value to it. It looks very irritating. Custom Dynamics have made LED indicator lights, but for certain models, so you can replace that sticker and add a LED strip. I think most likely it's for touring bikes, street light and road light, but then anyways, I don't like it, so I've got rid of it. I've just done nothing, just removed it, that's it. Now it looks so mean, it's totally black suspension. Speaking of suspension, I'd like to share one very economic upgrade which I did to my suspension. Now I haven't changed the suspension, the front and the rear one, they're still the same, they're still the stock, but what I did when I did my stage 1 upgrade, at around 42,000 kilometers, I replaced the front suspension oil. I replaced the oil with the Screaming Eagle Performance suspension oil, and that's done wonders. Now from 42 to 93,000 kilometers, I've done almost 50,000 kilometers, and the suspension is exactly the same it was after I changed the oil. So that makes a lot of difference. It will increase the life of your front suspension. I am a big fan of suspension. I would love to have Öhlins or Legend suspension in my bike, but maybe at a later date, not as of now. Suspensions are doing good. If you're someone who loves to ride in mountains, lean, then you need a little improved suspension, because these suspensions will work very well, but only to a point. You need those performance suspension if you are someone who loves to lean in the curves with a high degree. These are also stock, these are also very good, and I'm happy with them. That's the reason I haven't changed it yet, and I managed to do a pretty good job just with the changing of oil. Now all that you need to do is you need to do the oil change at an appropriate time. Don't stretch it beyond that. You now will be in a situation that you have to replace the coils. So don't get into that. Like idle time is by around 35,000 kilometers. You should do that, and it will really help you a lot. It's not that expensive, but it will do wonders. Before that, I could see my bike really going down when I was crossing over a speed breaker, and I knew that I was feeling that it's a matter of couple of more thousand kilometers, and I'll lose them. But then my service engineer at the Harley Davidson dealership, they are pros, and if you are friends with them, then you also get to know some tips, and he was the one to help me with that tip, that just change your suspension oil and see the difference. And that's what I did. And from 42 to 93, the suspension is still the same. So you can try that out if in case you have not done that. It will add a lot of value to your suspensions. What more? Now there are certain accessories which I have not opted for. For example, grips. I never went for handlebar grips. I don't like them. I'm happy with the stock handlebar itself. I haven't changed my handlebar either. I didn't opt it for the ape handlebar or something else. The drag bar is nice. It comes back towards you, and it gives you a comfortable position. Your back is straight. You don't have to lean forward. Plus, given the added benefit of the seats and the floorboards, I mean, I am riding a sofa. So it's as comfortable as that. And that's the reason I've been able to do long distance ride on a Dyna Fat Bob as much as someone does it on a street glide or a road glide or some other or a road king for that matter. So it all depends on how you want to plan your accessories with the use that you want to put them onto. So I have used these accessories since the time I've installed them. I'm a daily rider, so whether it's the saddlebag, whether it's the seat, whether it's the mobile mount or my lights or the fog lamps, everything, touch wood, is still the same as I got it. So in headlights I saved a lot of money. They are also LED, they also do pretty well, and they were 1/10 of the price. So was the case with the engine guard. Now again, the engine guard is an aftermarket engine guard. It is 1/3 the price of the Harley Davidson engine guard, and it does solve the same purpose. It's also pretty strong. So, and there are other brands as well you can look forward to. You can Google out and find out a lot of options available on the engine guard side and the handlebar side. Again, even the kill switch which I have for my fog lamps, even this is 4 years old, and it's working fine. So just look out for the accessories which you think are going to help you in your pattern of riding, and then accordingly add it. Being a first generation Harley owner, I wanted to do everything myself, acquiring the parts, searching through it, doing a lot of research on it, discussing with friends, spending, I don't know how many man hours would have gone even in selecting the stickers to be put on a helmet. Forget, talking about the, the stage 1 or stage 4 kit upgrade, or for that matter, the seats, the music system, the Pillion rider backrest. So you don't realize how much time you put in, but then that's how a Harley Davidson changes your life. You make time from somewhere, you don't know, but you just get time when it's about accessories of your bike. Having covered almost all the accessories, I think there's nothing much left to speak about. I don't think I've missed anything, but if I'll recall, and if I've not covered now, I'll share the link in the description, and probably I'll try to add the pictures as well, and you can have a look at it. The only other thing which I can speak about, though it's not an accessory, but when you change it regularly, then you can speak it like an accessory. These are the most critical part on your bike, because these are the only part in your bike which touches the ground, which are on the road. And I'm talking about the tires, that's correct. Now I have a set of Cobra Chrome tires by A1. These are amazing tires. I have ridden 16,000 kilometers on them, and they've got a little, not a little, rather a lot more thread and meat left in them. I think I can easily stretch another 5,000 to 7,000 kilometers on them. Now, given the composition of these tires, riding them up to 20,000 kilometers is a hell lot of riding with them. They have got a soft compound. They stick with the road like anything. If you're riding with them, I think you'll feel the difference. Your lean angle will increase automatically. You can throw in the bike, and you can cover back yourself from the curve. So these are amazing tires. They will definitely add increasing your when you would like to get into a curve and come out, they will play a big part along with suspensions if you have. So, but the combination of my either stock suspension with an oil upgrade with these Cobra Chrome tires is awesome, and I'm all happy with that. I don't think I need anything else, but that's something I would like to share with you. I can do again a separate video on tires, given that I've gone through 4 separate brands of tires and I can speak on length in them. Probably I'll do a separate video about it. It would make more sense. But it's been an awesome journey. All parts, all accessories have made a lot of sense. They are part of my journey. They've been helpful. The saddlebags, extremely helpful if you're going for a long distance ride, especially if it involves overnight stay and you need to carry your luggage. Or even for that matter, at times there are a lot of during the day itself you see extreme behaviors in weather. So during the day you don't want to put on a jacket, but in the evening you would like to ride with the jacket on. So you can just throw back your jacket in the saddle during the day, and if you're riding in the night, you can put it on. So these are the advantages which you would have if you're a long distance rider, and if you want to make the most of your bike. So that's it, guys. That's pretty much it. So happy to talk about my bike, and I believe this review would really help the existing Dyna Fat Bob owners. Either if you're looking to add more accessory, I think you would have seen it all over here. There are many more which you can do, but I've added those which suited my riding pattern. which I needed would help me in my daily commute, in my long distance rides. If there are any additional accessories which you guys have added, which is quite unique, please share the link, please share your video link, and I'll be more than happy to look at them as well. Alright guys, signing off, take care, and see you soon on the highway with more interesting videos. And guys, if you have stayed with me until the end, it would make a lot of sense for you guys to subscribe to the channel, like the channel. More subscribers and more likes and more shares will definitely motivate me to do more informative videos on motorcycles. So it's not just Harley Davidson. Yes, I am a Harley Davidson rider, so I did the review of Harley Davidson first. I'll be covering other bikes like BMW, other Harley Davidson models and parts, accessories, any news, any new launches, everything will be covered. And absolute roadie. Alright guys, see you, take care, signing off.